Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Water and Sewer Commission meeting for Monday, August 1st, 2022. I will be running the meeting. The mayor's on vacation, and Attorney Kleinville will not be attending either because he's on vacation also. First order of business, public participation. And I don't see anybody from the public. We'll move right on to number 2, stormwater moment. In your package, you have best management practices for, as you can see from, protection natural features, construction phases, vegetation buffers, silt fence, making sure everything's done properly. Different ways and techniques of site stabilization, protecting construction entrances, making sure that they're constructed properly so you're not dragging material back onto the street with vehicles and things of that nature. Protecting the down lands from slopes and things like that, making sure dirt piles are not sloped properly. They are sloped properly, or they're put in several stages rather than just one big pile. And also making sure that the stormwater drains are properly maintained and that they're not clogged with any material.
What is BMP?
Best management practices.
Oh, okay.
So this is just different management practices that can be attributed for all of these different areas within, construction zones and construction sites.
This reminds me, actually, I was driving along the other day and saw someone's city 50 wide lot with all the Kensington Road School storm, whatever, between the sidewalk and the curb.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some signs posted there, like I remember seeing when the Kensington thing went in. Is there a private resident encouragement or information or thing to do that, or somebody just took it upon themselves to copy that?
Unless
Not us.
unless they took it out, unless they were handed something when they went through the permit process and that they had to do it, or they have a contractor doing it, they're responsible for it. Is that what you're
Well, I
saying?
didn't know if we were encouraging it or if it was a thing that, hey, if you feel like it, this would be nice. But
I think we encourage it whenever possible, whenever we're aware of it, and obviously when Jeremy and building permits go out. And now, with the way the building department's handling things now, who's doing that, Tom? The building permits now? What engineering? Is it?
Labella.
Labella. So they may be a little more stringent on these best management practices and things of that nature.
What was that? I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't hear you.
I was driving along. I want to say it was 40 Amherst, but in my mind, I think it was like a 50 wide, smaller, like my street or something, a smaller lot, and somebody had just done that. I don't know, the run-in, whatever you call it, that you did at Kensington School, where it's supposed
Rain garden?
Rain garden, yeah, it's supposed to soak that stuff up. I think it was on a curb though, so it's not like roads.
That's on 40 Amherst, it's Queensbury, and they did that about 4 or 5 years ago, so you're very observant now.
I only drive that road about 6 times a day.
That was back about, like I said, 4 or 5 years ago. They were trying to get the public involved in these rain gardens, and I think between Queensbury and Glens Falls, I was the only one that bid on it.
I got you.
Yeah, that's right there,
Okay,
not far from the old Regan complex.
gotcha. All right.
It is a rain garden.
All right. Any other questions on the stormwater management? Moving to billing issues. We do have one. I think it's in your package. I think it's pretty. Mike and Adam have done a pretty good job outlining everything that's taking place on this. And Mary Beth. Mr. Hamill was told several times, that he needed by letter that he needed to get his meter replaced. He didn't respond to any of the letters, and sometimes, a couple of times he told us, he doesn't really pay attention to letters that are sent by the city of Glens Falls. They're either thrown out or he just doesn't pay attention to them. And for the 7 months, it was, what is the fee monthly? Like
$225
$225 a quarter. So, and this is, so when he finally got his bill and he saw how high it was, now he's asking for relief. You can ask.
Did he pay the regular bills? Did,
Late.
He was, well, what happened was the meter went out of service, so we wanted to replace the meter, so he sent a letter. So he was receiving bills based on his historic bills.
oh,
So, and I believe he was paying those, wasn't he, Mike? And
Sometimes they get paid, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get added onto the re-levy to the taxes.
so his letter says, I unknowingly missed the letters informing you. Then he said, they don't pay attention to the letters.
Well, that's what he told my people who take a lot of abuse on the phone
Yeah,
from customers that feel they've been wronged. And usually by the time it gets a letter to the commissioner, it's a different story.
yeah.
Sorry.
I think the fact he's been notified many times and chooses to ignore it, I don't, to hold on to that,
Is there a policy that we send a certified letter out to them?
We don't do it certified, we send regular
send
mail.
this one, just send this letter here.
yeah, the letter was in the back of the package.
So, Aaron, Adam, he called him, and he said that, let's see, Aaron, yeah, if he pays the fees, then, they take it off of the bill?
Not take it off the bill, but we take it off of the account so that future bills won't be charged the no meter fee. That's what he's saying.
Oh, so you can.
We put it right on the account, so until we take the charge off, it stays on the bill.
Okay.
So when we put a transmitter in, we'll take it off the account, so the next quarterly billing won't reflect the no meter fee anymore.
Oh, so-
Because the meter's still reading, we just can't get the reading with the van.
Yeah. So, there's no, let's see. Oh, I got the wrong letter.
Yeah, Adam doesn't tell anyone that he's gonna take it off the bill, because we can't take anything off the bill without your approval.
Oh, okay.
Once something's on the bill, it's up to the Water and Sewer Commission, unless it's a grievous error. The commission's gotta approve taking anything off of current bill.
Okay, so he's still gonna he's still gonna get the $450.
Well, we've since put a transmitter in, so the charge has been taken off for future bills.
Oh, okay.
Just from the time the transmitter was installed.
Yep.
So he's looking for relief on the,
Or three others, I believe.
3 other quarters of that. I don't see any reason. Remove it. We have plenty of time, plenty of notice. If he chooses to hit his mail, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's fine too. That's my feeling, I don't.
I agree.
Make a motion, we deny
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Second.
Yeah, any discussion? Any more discussion?
I don't know.
All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you.
That'd be calling your office, so.
Mike says thank you. I'll be calling Brando and me.
And one
Right.
thing now, can I add?
Sure.
There is, we're down to about 290 of the first waves. And we've got all the people's letters out, so we might want to thinking about having a few where people just don't respond to our final couple hundred letters. I know National Grid charges $100 almost per month if you don't respond to a thing, because they're still reading. But we're getting greater and greater that aren't reading, so we might wanna think about putting a fee where we can charge. We don't wanna charge it $225 because they're still reading, but charge $50 or something like that just to, until they respond to a letter that we send. And perhaps we'd better do it certified.
Is that something you wanna do, or you
So
wanna?
we should know,
Yep.
we should know we received it.
Yeah.
Is that something your office wanna do, or should we have the attorney draw up the letter saying?
There's no particular rush on it, so.
Does anybody check with the city attorney on this?
Yeah.
That's what we just talked about.
Because I was trying to do something where we charge for pickup. If they throw a couch out there and after 3 weeks, they don't respond, they don't get off the thing. And I was told by the city lawyer, we can't add on charges.
That's not water and sewer, but that ticks me off
Yeah.
too, seeing people just empty their basements onto the sidewalk and
Yep.
leave it there for 2 weeks.
$100 for a couch and 75 for a chair.
That's what Woody just said. You
Yeah.
might wanna run it by Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Before we.
These peanut galleries, you can't hear.
I like what you're saying though.
Can we make note of that for the next meeting?
Yep.
For discussion, maybe we
Yeah.
should talk to Dave about.
Can we act on it if we talk about it
Legalities,
flowing
yeah.
into the storm drain?
We'll include something in
Can
the
we
package.
act on that if
Okay.
we talk about the
Resolution.
couches flowing
Don't
into the
forget
storm
it.
drains eventually? The foam?
The bugs coming off.
Yeah, right.
All right. We'll move on to the resolutions. Approval of the minutes of the July 5th, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
No questions.
Okay. So approved. Approval of the warrant. Any questions on the warrant?
Yeah, on page 5, with the motor vehicle, first one,
Yeah.
it says coal chute. What's the purpose of this coal chute? I don't know, that's the repair or something, but.
No,
that-
that's,
Yeah.
Tom, what was that you put on the back of, Dave's truck?
Oh, co-
It said something like.
It's for
something-
pavement.
A shoe.
For, to get the pavement out or any
Yes.
kind of, yeah.
When we bought the truck, it came with a solid
Tailgate.
Tailgate and a, and an
And
open.
we knew it, yes.
They,
So
they
we-
call it coal chute.
Yeah, so,
Oh, yeah.
and basically whether it's rock or whether it's pavement or whether it's
Sand.
process, you can put it in a specific location rather than just dumping it all in one big heap.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
got a really good price on the truck, that's why we didn't buy it
Oh.
equipped as we.
Yeah.
Need a tailgate, Pete?
Without a coal chute in it, though.
And on page 8, is, next to the last one is the lawyer fees of 2,800 legal fees. What's Fuller doing for Fuller?
He's working on the road.
He's working on the memorial agreement with the mayor.
Oh, okay. One more.
Mhm.
Um,
They're not
on
Fuller.
page 10,
So.
Thank you,
Emmerich
Chris.
Associates,
Really good.
$10,000 repair something.
That was for one of the pumps at one of our pump stations,
Oh.
at the Henry Street Pump Station.
Oh,
Yeah. A new pump would be about 3 times that
oh,
easily.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Need a motion to accept the,
Motion to accept the
or approve the warrant?
approval of the warrant.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. C, approval of the timber sale. I think when you walked in, you saw the timber sale resolution in front of you. I have the email here. There were 4 bids. The lowest was 104,650. The next was 133,059.23. The next was 135. And Prentice and Carlisle were 211,313. Tom said they're a reputable firm. Tom Gilman said a reputable firm. They had worked with the city before, and he talked to them about obviously how much money they left on the table. And he said they had no visions of reneging on their bid, so he was very satisfied. He said that they received some very favorable numbers for the pine that they're going to take over the next 2 years from the area they've selected up there by Butler Pond. So, as Tom always does, I think his conservative estimate was like 83 or 89,000.
76.
76, even more conservative. So,
Pleasant surprise.
yes. So, with that, I'll ask for a resolution to
So
approve.
moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Perfect.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. D, approval of the scum trough installation.
This is what we were talking about with Chris, right? They were talking about adding 2, or is this a different job?
This is the grease drum troughs at the end of the primary tanks. These aren't we were doing, Suez is going to reline 1 and 2. But there's the scum troughs that are all worn out. We have the scum troughs, this is the installation.
I thought that was gonna be a lot more than this.
The scrum troughs were already purchased. This is just
Yeah, and the scum troughs came in, I think, about 80 grand, I think they were for the 4.
Yeah, that's okay.
So this is the installation, and I think we carried about 110 or 120,000 in that line item.
Cool.
So we should be pretty well set
Yeah,
for
great.
the installation. The thing is, Chris is gonna have to manipulate his process to make sure that we can get him in. This is the best time, obviously, with the lowest amount of rain and things like that nature. In order to do this, we're trying to figure out whether we have to take 1 or 2 down and stop flow so that they can work. With that, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Right?
Yes.
Thank you. Mike, you're up.
The next one is a resolution because the reassessment was completed and was official on 7/1. If we use our current rate, which was based on the prior assessment, we'd be taking too much money from some people. Well, everybody would be charging more for the most part. So I recalculated using the same methodology as I did at budget time, which came out pretty perfect, and applied to the new assessment, which is significantly higher. It's a lower rate, but it's on 60% more, so we effectively should be making the same amount of money. So it's just
Yeah.
an adjustment to make everybody right, so that we're,
So we're
not fair.
over collecting if
We won't be over collecting, otherwise we would have made too much, and it wasn't. Ordinarily, we do this every year on the 3rd quarter, but generally it's like not even worth changing the rate with the new reassessment. We really had to. And I gave you copies of the computations so you can see.
Did you think you published that in the newspaper?
yeah, we lowered the rate.
We did right by you.
We're probably gonna have to do a public hearing, right?
Oh,
When it goes to the common council. So they'll know.
So if we approve this, it goes to public hearing.
It goes to common
Council has
council.
to approve it.
And they'll set the public hearing.
If there has to be one, I would
Okay.
have to set it, yeah.
Okay.
I'll move the resolution.
Aye.
Thanks for that, Mike.
Any discussion, any more discussion? All in favor?
yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay. Number 5 now, discussion A. This morning we had a kickoff meeting with John Goldie for the electrical upgrade project. Met at 11:30. Jeremy, I, Chris, and Jason met with him to go over everything. We gave him all of the preliminary information that he was requesting. He's gonna go back and look and start his process of developing an RFP. And we'll move from there. We're also going to seek a meeting with National Grid to investigate whether to switch over from the 3140 to the 480. Whether it's in the best interest of both of us, really, to see if it's going to be more costly in the long run, or whether it'll save some money, and whether it'll cost us more outages or things of that nature. So we'll see where that leads to. Anything else, Chris, that you would think of? Okay. Got some pictures. This is a repair on Marion Avenue. Maybe Jeremy, you want to give us a little synopsis of it?
That's the after photo. I don't know if is there anything before us?
Is that another huge clay to the left of it?
Yeah, there's two short series.
One more?
Yeah, I guess you can go back. Yeah, that's a good one. So, I don't know, how long has it been? For last 6 months or so, I think we had a resident express concerns that every time it rains, he's got a couple of slop sinks down in his basement that backs up every time it rains. So, field operations did some investigative work and pretty much led us to digging a hole down there and see where his sewer lateral was connected. It's known there's a couple of large storm drains on that street, as well as an 8-inch sanitary sewer. As we suspected, there were two 24-inch storm sewers in between the gentleman's house and the sanitary sewer. So, sometimes it's
One
the
here,
closest
one here.
sewer you come to is the one that they connected to. In this case, there was an elevation challenge, that the storm pipes were directly in conflict with his lateral and couldn't get over the top of them. But the guys did a good job and they popped a couple sidewalk panels out, were able to hook on to his lateral, adjust the slope of that green pipe a little bit, and get over the top of those large sewers and still maintain positive pitch. Now that other sewer you see crossing above it is the neighbor's lateral from the next house over. So I don't know what was going on there, but there was also a water service in that trench. There was a lot going on. There's a gas service. So the guys did a really good job putting that together and it came out nice.
The good news, that neighbor's lateral is going to the right
Yeah.
line, because that would have been the next suspicious that they put them all in the storm line.
But isn't he supposed to have a check valve downstairs anyway?
They should, and that's, this is where we fight all, every time you see it,
Yeah.
complaining from Megan Gibbs, is 99% because they don't have a check valve. When you try to tell people they have to have a check valve, they argue with you, and it's the city's fault, as you see the paper in the Chronicle, and it's always our fault.
Yeah, and that was original plumbing too. That was old cast iron, 4-inch cast iron. That was.
Is that a code that we have that for new buildings or retros that has to be put in?
My understanding is highly recommended but not mandatory.
Can we make it mandatory?
You'd have to go into the building codes or something.
I think if the commission wanted to, they could make that recommendation, and the town council could approve it and give and we could develop a standard detail for any new connections to the sanitary sewer must be equipped with a back water valve.
Get Dave involved in that also.
Yeah.
Is there any commercial restaurant or somebody in Greece or something that would hate that and really rail against it?
Every restaurant's gotta have a grease trap anyway.
It would work for everybody, right? There's no,
There's no reason not to have one, because
Yeah.
all this is a flap that opens when you're disposing and closes so it doesn't come back into your building.
If, yeah, if there's any
Residential, commercial.
If there's any pressure, you know, it won't let you, at least it won't let your water out, so you're not getting everybody else's water back.
yeah.
Basically common sense, you should have one. Maybe it should be a public thing or something, go in the paper or the Facebook page or saying something. It's highly recommended by the Water and Sewer Commission to install.
We can look at something.
Yeah, because I think like most anything, nobody thinks about it until it's. a
Right, until it
problem.
happens.
Right.
And anybody, any reputable builder's gonna put one in, it's the people that are trying to. Cause I mean, I think a check valve for a residential house is $60 or something like that.
Doesn't the city have a plumbing code that they used 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's still there. I looked at it and I don't think it really specifically said you had to have one. Yeah, I'll find it again, shoot it to you.
Just some other pictures, you can see this is Keenan. Last month I showed you the ramp that Mark and DPW and Tom did. They did a really good job. Just see how, now you can see with the water in it. You can see, I mean, you can see some of the gunite, that's what we're talking about. How we're gonna have to repair some of this gunite within all of the intakes. So whether we're gonna do spot repairs or we're gonna look at gunite in each one of them, you know, maybe one a year or something. We're trying to get some figures on doing that. Here's, you can see down into the water, the ramp they built.
Where the boat was.
Then we were up by
Big tent.
Butler intake, and you can see some people were dumping some yard waste. You have some White Claw there. You can see they were up on Butler Pond, because we lowered the reservoir. You can see how we had some ATVs, probably some, you know, dirt bikes in there. Oh, here's the one you're probably looking for,
Oh,
Jeremy.
yeah, so there's a picture in the street, so there
Yeah.
you see.
There's the two 24s.
That's Boomer there, so where his right arm is, that's the 8-inch sanitary, and then going towards the curb is two 24s, and if you look closely on that, towards the top of the picture, you can see the 4-inch lateral tapping into
This is
that.
the lateral coming in into the storm line.
That's the storm sewer?
Yep, that's the storm sewer.
Yeah, another one's fixed now.
Yeah, there's 5 feet of pipe right next to each other.
Yeah.
I didn't know the storms were clay tile aged. I thought storm sewers were a newer post-war thing. Before that, it just ran down the street and down the hill into the river kind of a thing.
No, they're just about as old as the sanitaries. Just one other thing, I don't know if we had it for the workshop or not, but we did have several calls on taste and odor because we had switched over to the Halfway
Yeah,
Brook.
yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that everybody knew about that. And going forward, we're looking at, you know, we always have to use the Halfway Brook at least once a month, but we either have to use it as a full flow or we can blend it with the upper junction. So this month, to alleviate some of those issues, we'll probably just blend it with upper junction so we don't have to do it. Tom, did you want to pass that picture around that you had?
Sure. This is a job we're presently doing right at the moment over on the corner of Carlton Court. I think Ronnie was one of the first ones that told me about a sinkhole over there, Carlton Court and LaRose.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the guys dug it up today, and this is to nobody's blame but our own grandfathers and great-grandfathers that were working for the city back in the day.
Holy moly.
That's pretty much what you're seeing there.
Comes out.
That's a sewer line going through a storm line.
Just intersecting it?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
So, probably back in the day, they would have put a 4-way
Yeah.
thing in there, and that'd be storm sewer.
And so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when you open the street, you'll never know what you're gonna find.
So don't ask me how we're fixing it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's already backfilled and they did what they had to do.
Do you have any water issues over in front of the new LaRose Gardens? Is that all draining real well?
part of it right there. When we opened that up, it was coming, the storm was surcharged, which I don't see very often.
Well, the front of that, where the landscaping ends for the new buildings and all that, it's an absolutely perfect spot for a rain garden. It's all stones. The guys that do the lawn are over there with weed whackers trying to keep it clean, but it's made for a rain garden.
Yeah, I'm meeting with Warren County tomorrow morning, maybe I'll bring over and ask.
Just take a look. If it's not feasible, it's not feasible, but I was looking at it the other day, and it's a big spot for it. It's a big area, it's open.
Good idea.
Any questions on any of the pictures or anything?
Yeah.
None answerable.
Yeah. Who did it? We don't have those answers. I have no personnel issues to speak with at this time.
There's just one comment I'd like to make. Maybe we should go to executive session about it, rather than if that's reasonable.
Okay, I think we have to, is it pertaining to personnel?
Nope, it's just an executive session.
I thought it had to pertain to either contractual personnel or.
There's a bit of a conflict. But
Contractual.
I don't know whether you want to publicize it or not. That's
I'd rather not, but.
okay. That's fine.
Then,
I'll give you a call or something.
okay, and then we'll see
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe something for next meeting.
next meeting then. Okay. Anything else that we have for executive session? Okay, then the next proposed meeting would be August 15th for the workshop, and Tuesday, September 6th, because the 5th is Labor Day. Any other questions, comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.